video I'm going to complete the 2500 round test, and I'm pushing all the way to 5000, but I am going 2500 before I actually wipe down the pistol and re-lubricate. It's not going to see any CLP solvent or whatever. It's just going to use a lubricant that's provided with the pistol. So I'm going to be pushing it the last 500 rounds to 2500, and then of course we'll start all over, and I'll have a separate video of the wipe down and the wear analysis, but this is just some more shooting footage, so I hope you enjoy. Alright, I'm just going to show you guys my use of the K-Rounds holster that you can get from a Lionheart. Now, this is actually made for the Mark II, the older LH9 Mark II, but I found that it does squeeze the Regulus in pretty smoothly. Not all holsters are going to be able to do that because there was a change in height. It's a little bit bigger, I believe, on the Regulus from what the marketing guy told me. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through some draw, and I'm using the 13 round LH9 magazines. They're a little bit thinner on the body than the Beretta body magazines that were modified to lock into the Regulus, but you know, the LH9 magazines do fit, and so do the 5906. The 5906 magazines are much more reliable in this pistol so far than they are in the LH9 pistols. So, anyways, let's get to shooting. Alright, sweet. So, I'm going to also use a 20 rounder here. So, it works pretty well, locks open pretty reliably. One little detail that I want to cover is the magazines. Now, in my last video on the 2000 round range review, I mentioned that it uses the Beretta style magazines, but it's only the magazine body and the follower. They do alter the follower and they use a different base plate, but they use the 18 round Metgar magazine body, but Metgar was kind enough to work with them and actually make the locking cuts in the magazine. So this is your 18 rounder for the LH9, or not the LH9, the Regulus. So it locks in the same position, so it's compatible with LH9 or the Korean magazines, but you can see the locking points here are different. So if we level these up, you can see it's not going to work in the Regulus. The Beretta magazines aren't really going to work in the Regulus. Now, they will go past the locking point, and if you hold it on the bottom, of course, you could try to feed it, but it just doesn't work that well. You'd have to pull it down. Right now, I have it stuck. It's not even on the feed ramp. So if I pull it down a little bit and just hold it in position, let's see if it actually works. Just doing a demonstration. Why not? So. Nice flinch. But as you see there, it's got to be like perfect in order to actually feed it. So let's see. Yep. So kind of sketchy on being able to lock in there. So yep, there we go. So anyways, that's the problem with these Beretta magazines. They're recut. You're not going to be able to use Beretta magazines in there unless you want to do the cuts yourself, and then it would have to be exacting in order for these things to be reliable, or these things to be reliable. So, you know, then you're kind of screwed on actually having it reliably work in your Berettas. So, you could do that, but it would kind of screw that up, right? So, anyways, just wanted to cover that detail. I'm really enjoying this K-Rounds holster. The sweat guard is actually nice enough, and the holster goes out just a little bit more than you needed to, so it's a lot easier to holster it. You don't really have to go into the body and then insert. It's pretty easy to holster without, you know, burning yourself, because if you're shooting as much as I am, you're heating up the gun, and you don't want to burn yourself and leave marks. So anyways, pretty comfortable holster, very secure. So now I'm going to test it on double action plus with the safety on. You just use your knuckle right here, and flip on the safety, not really that big of a deal. If you're going to put it on safe, that means you're obviously not using the pistol in a firing manner anymore. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give it a try and bring you guys along for it. Very natural to take it off safe, and putting it on safe does require effort, but it kind of should, because you want to make sure that, you know, you're done shooting. So not a big deal. So put it on safe. You don't have to flip it in double action plus. You can have it in cocked and locked and your finger ready to go. Take it off safe and leave it on for leverage. So pretty easy to use this pistol in any mode you want. Again, I don't really recommend you just pulling the trigger and easing the hammer forward, but you can, just like I did very safely. I just momentarily squeeze the trigger, and that way the firing pin block gets engaged to where it'll block it if the hammer goes forward. But it kind of goes to that preset position where you can still see the full hole in the skeletonized hammer. That means it's never going to actually come in contact or near the firing pin, so you don't have to hold down the trigger and let it go all the way. So anyways, in this position, same thing. Go ahead and holster it real quick, and then take off the safety, and you'll see that it doesn't really make me lose time or anything like that. So as you saw there, I had the long heavy double action pull, which the traditional double action pull on this one is way different than the LH9 or the DP51. It's actually a lighter spring, and it's a lot smoother. So, you know, that kind of is an option, but not something I would regularly toy with. So I'm going to go cocked and locked out of the holster. Oh, let's play this game. So what I noticed there is that going cocked and locked really wasn't much different than just using the double action plus and just going all the way through it. It was just the length of pull was a little bit different, but it didn't feel much different because the weight, and because you were pulling all the way through, you didn't have to make contact and then pull. It almost felt like it was heavier just going on single action off of cocked and locked than it was actually just to do the double action plus, because the momentum you get almost makes it feel like a lighter trigger, but of course you get the distance. So, you know, that's my analysis. I found that using these finger reference points, it's really meant for the trigger finger on both sides if you're left-handed and such, but I found that it's a good reference for your thumb, and it helps you get a better grip. And of course I leave my thumb on the safety. Helps you control the recoil better. Okay, so that's the 2500 round range review. There was just a couple of updates from the 2000 round range review, but overall, it's a pretty easy gun to shoot, and I like that it still kind of works in the K rounds holster for the Mark II, but you know, it's a pretty good gun. It's handling good so far, has been completely reliable. So yep, definitely check it out. Look forward to more videos, and it's still I got a comparison to do, and of course bringing you guys along for cleaning the pistol. So thanks a lot for watching, and you guys have a good one.